Okay, let's dive in. Today we're unpacking the whole world of tech support and PC repair channels on YouTube.
Right. It's a fascinating space, really.
Absolutely. And you've brought some really insightful sources looking at this niche, analyzing what makes these channels tick, what makes them popular.
And specifically looking at how a business, like the example West LA Computer Expert, could maybe use those lessons to build up their own online thing.
Exactly. So our mission here for this deep dive is to kind of cut through the noise, figure out the core strategies these channels are using.
Yeah, see what works, what doesn't, and what you could actually learn from them.
The first thing that jumps out, and it seems really key based on the sources, is authenticity.
Oh, completely. It's huge. So many of the really successful channels, the ones that connect, they're run by actual working techs, system admins, repair people.
People in the trenches, basically.
Exactly. They're not just talking about tech theory. They're showing real-world fixes, bringing that on-the-job experience right to the viewer.
And that must resonate, right? If you're sitting there with a broken computer, seeing someone actually fix a similar problem.
It makes a massive difference. It feels immediate, relatable. They're dealing with the same frustrations the viewer might be facing.
That makes sense. And the sources highlight a real range of styles within that authentic approach, too.
Definitely. It's not one size fits all. You've got someone like Carey Holzman, for example.
Right. His stuff feels very raw, almost. Like you're literally looking over his shoulder while he works on a customer's machine.
Yeah, totally unscripted, real-time repairs. It's very direct, very practical problem solving. That's one end of it.
And then you swing to the other side.
And you get channels like Jay's 2 Cents, much higher production value there. It's more about custom builds, high-end hardware, really aspirational stuff for enthusiasts.
So less about fixing a specific error code, more about the dream machine.
Kind of, yeah, but still grounded in tech knowledge.
Yeah.
And then there's Linus Tech Tips, which is just massive.
Yeah, they cover everything, it feels like.
Right, broad consumer tech, gadgets, complex PC stuff, benchmarks, but always with that accessible educational angle, even when it gets technical.
So different audiences, different styles.
Yeah.
But what about the channels that are maybe more directly comparable to a local repair business, focusing purely on support and fixes?
Ah, okay, yeah. That's where you see some really direct lessons for, say, our West LA Computer Expert example. TechWise City is a great one.
What's their angle?
It's very much about the business of repair. He literally shows the process of finding used PCs, fixing them up, and flipping them for profit. It's monetizing the skill directly.
Interesting. So practical and entrepreneurial.
Exactly. And then there's Braid 809. He's fantastic at tackling those super common everyday client issues.
Like what?
Oh, malware removal, Windows not booting, printer connection problems, the stuff that drives non-techie users absolutely crazy.
Right, the daily grind of IT support, basically, solving those immediate pain points.
Precisely. And that builds incredible loyalty because you're solving the exact problem someone searched for.
And what about Chris Titus Tech? He seems to come up a lot, too.
Yeah, he goes a bit deeper, often into system optimization. He's known for specific tools, like his Titus Toolbox, scripts that automate certain tweaks or fixes.
So moving beyond just a single fix to actually improving the system overall, empowering the user a bit more.
That's a good way to put it. It's about giving users tools and knowledge to make their systems run better.
And it's not just for experts either, is it? The sources mention channels for beginners, too.
Right, like Learn Windows 10 and computers. And that highlights something crucial. There's a huge audience that just needs the basics, explained clearly and patiently.
People who aren't tech savvy at all.
Exactly. They don't need deep dives into BIOS settings. They just need to know how to connect to Wi-Fi or organize their files without feeling intimidated. There's real value in that simplicity.
Okay, so we have this wide range, raw repairs, slick builds, broad education, beginner help, optimization.
No.
But what are the common threads? What do these successful channels all seem to do well, according to the sources?
A few things consistently pop up. First, and maybe most obviously, they're all focused on solving real computer issues. Problems people actually encounter.
Not just theoretical stuff, practical value.
Practical value is key. Second, there's usually a blend. It's not just showing the fix, but also explaining the how and the why.
So that mix of the hands-on demonstration with some actual teaching.
Exactly. That tutorial element is vital. It helps viewers understand, not just copy.
And that builds trust, I imagine. Makes the host seem like an authority.
Absolutely. Building that authority and trust is paramount. It often comes down to just having an approachable, honest tone. You feel like they know their stuff, but they also genuinely want to help you out.
No gatekeeping, just sharing the knowledge.
Right. And visually, things like screen recordings or clear shots of the hardware being worked on are super important. It makes it relatable, easy to follow.
Yeah, you can see the cursor, see the error message they're talking about. Makes a huge difference in tech.
Totally. Seeing is believing, like you said earlier.
Okay, and we can't ignore the online video aspect monetization. How did these channels make it work? Is it just ads?
It's usually a mix, according to the sources. You have the standard stuff like YouTube ad revenue, of course. Affiliate links are big, recommending specific hardware, software tools they use.
So if a viewer buys through their link, they get a cut.
Exactly. Sponsored content is also common, where brands pay for reviews or integrations. But for channels run by actual repair businesses, a key part is driving leads to their own services.
Using the channel as marketing for the main business.
Precisely. And then if you build a strong enough community, merchandise can become another income stream too. T-shirts, mugs, that sort of thing. It's quite diverse.
Right, not just one path. Okay, so let's loop this back to the specific scenario the sources analyzed.
Yeah.
Building that online presence for West LA Computer Expert. How do these general principles become, actual strategy?
Well, the strategic ideas presented pull directly from these examples. They suggest specific content pillars or themes.
Okay, like what?
Things like client fixes. So taking real but anonymized repair jobs they do for West LA clients and turning them into video case studies, showing the problem, the diagnosis, the fix.
Like Bright 09's focus on common issues but localized?
Exactly. Then maybe an Ask a Tech segment for Q&A, a Speed Up Your PC series, borrowing from the optimization idea like Chris Titus Tech.
Okay, tackling common searches.
Right. And even a pillar like, is it worth repairing? Which adds that practical, business-savvy perspective, helping people decide whether a fix makes financial sense.
That feels very grounded, very real world.
Yeah, it addresses a question people genuinely grapple with. The sources also suggest integrating tool reviews, like discussing diagnostic software or repair kits they actually use in the shop.
Again, adding that practical value, showing the tools of the trade.
Right, gives viewers concrete takeaways.
Now, sources also mentioned something about AI and automation. That sounds maybe a bit advanced for a local computer shop's YouTube channel.
It does sound a bit futuristic, yeah. But the idea, drawing from channels, looking at AI or coding, isn't necessarily about building complex AI systems. It's more about demonstrating how a modern tech expert uses the tools available today.
So maybe showing how they use a simple script to automate a routine checkup, or how certain diagnostic tools leverage AI.
Exactly. It positions the business as being current, forward-thinking, efficient, using tech smartly, not just fixing old problems.
Okay, that makes more sense. But still, the internet is huge. There are countless tech channels. How does a local business like West LA Computer Expert actually stand out from, say, Linus Tech Tips?
And this is maybe the most crucial point the sources make. Leveraging that local identity.
Going hyper-local.
Yes, that's the key differentiator. Instead of trying to compete globally on generic tech topics, lean into being West LA's computer expert.
How would that look, practically?
Using stories from local clients, maybe framing a repair video around a common issue seen in a specific LA neighborhood, or even referencing local events if relevant. Hosting Q&A sessions specifically answering tech questions from people in Los Angeles.
So it feels much more personal, more community-focused.
Precisely. It builds a unique connection. It's not just some random tech channel. It feels like your local expert, someone who understands the local context. That creates stickiness, loyalty, that the big generic channels just can't replicate.
That makes a lot of sense. You're not just another face online.
Right. You're part of the community you serve, and the channel reflects that.
So when we pull all this together, what's the big picture? What does this analysis really tell us?
Well, I think it gives a really clear roadmap for what works in this online tech support and repair space. It boils down to authenticity, providing genuine practical value, and solving real problems.
And finding your niche, whether it's broad education, specific fixes, or high-end builds.
Exactly. Seeing how channels like Bright 09 turn everyday client headaches into helpful content, or how Chris Titus Tech shares tools and empowers users. It shows how real-world expertise translates directly into engaging online content.
It really illustrates that there isn't just one way to do it. Whether you're a longtime pro wanting to share what you know, or maybe just someone curious about this whole online tech ecosystem.
Yeah, there are definite patterns and effective strategies. At the end of the day, it really comes down to meeting people's needs, solving their tech frustrations, and building trust by, well, showing your work and being genuine.
So here's something to chew on as we wrap up. In this age of absolutely massive global online content creators, where anyone can theoretically reach millions, just how powerful can that truly local focus be, like the strategy suggested for West LA Computer Expert? Can that intense local identity create a deeper, more loyal community connection that the big players, almost by definition, can never really match?